In recent years, the name Bugatti has continued to symbolize absolute luxury, engineering madness, and the ultimate limits of automotive performance. It is a brand that has spent decades defining what a hypercar should be, not merely fast, but unimaginably fast. Not merely expensive, but virtually unattainable. For many successful entrepreneurs, investors, and collectors, owning a Bugatti is not about transportation. It is about status, about reaching a pinnacle achieved by only a select few. But according to analysts from leading automotive publications such as Car and Driver, Top Gear, and Bloomberg Automotive, the company has now reached a point where its traditional model of dominance is beginning to show its first cracks. The reason is that the automotive world is changing at an extraordinary pace. Whereas Bugatti was once synonymous with speed records, breathtaking acceleration, W16 engines, and engineering achievements that seemed impossible, the situation looks very different today. Electric vehicles costing a fraction of the price can now accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 2 to 3 seconds. Certain models from Tesla, Rimac, and even Chinese manufacturers are delivering performance that, only a decade ago, was considered exclusive to Bugatti. This creates a fundamental problem. The uniqueness that commands millions of dollars is gradually being eroded. Experts openly state that the era when only Bugatti could astonish the world with speed is coming to an end. Although the brand remains the benchmark for design, craftsmanship, and prestige, maintaining leadership based solely on traditional performance metrics is becoming increasingly difficult. Moreover, discussions within the industry are increasingly centered on the idea that hypercars as a category may soon face an identity crisis. If virtually any high-performance electric car can be astonishingly fast, then what exactly justifies a multi-million-dollar price tag? Against this backdrop, conversations about the need for radical transformation are becoming more frequent. Insiders close to Bugatti Rimac indicate that the company is indeed exploring entirely new directions that could fundamentally redefine the brand's future. One such direction involves moving beyond the boundaries of conventional automobiles. The concept under discussion is something that until recently belonged purely to the realm of science fiction, a hybrid vehicle capable of both driving on roads and traveling through the air. It is important to understand that, at present, there is no official confirmation whatsoever that Bugatti is developing a flying car. The company has made no public announcements, revealed no concepts, and filed no known patents in this field. However, that does not necessarily mean such ideas are not being explored internally. In fact, according to several industry sources, including analysts at Morgan Stanley and McKinsey, the eVTOL segment, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, is widely regarded as one of the most important transportation markets of the future. This naturally raises an important question. Does Bugatti possess the resources necessary to compete in this emerging sector? The answer is yes, but with important caveats. Following its merger with Rimac, the company gained access to one of the world's most advanced engineering centers specializing in electric technologies. Rimac is already developing batteries, powertrains, and control systems that outperform many competing solutions currently available on the market. This means that, from the standpoint of an electric platform, Bugatti is potentially well-positioned to create something entirely new. The real challenge lies elsewhere, in aviation. Building a flying car is not simply a matter of adding motors and wings. It requires an entirely different level of certification, safety standards, aerodynamics, and engineering expertise. Consequently, the most realistic scenario envisioned by analysts is a strategic partnership. Bugatti could collaborate with a company already operating in the eVTOL sector while focusing on what it does best: design, a premium ownership experience, brand prestige, and exclusivity. If one imagines what a flying Bugatti might look like, it would almost certainly be something completely unprecedented. It would not simply be a car fitted with propellers. It would be a hybrid between a hypercar and a private jet. An ultra-low body constructed from carbon fiber and titanium, the brand's signature horseshoe grille redesigned for aerodynamic flight, and integrated electric turbines replacing conventional wheels, capable of providing vertical takeoff. In road mode, the vehicle could utilize folding components or deployable systems, transforming from an aircraft into a fully functional hypercar. According to preliminary estimates from analysts, the price of such a vehicle could start at between $5 million and $10 million per unit. That is a logical figure, as this would not simply be another automobile, but an entirely new category of transportation. Furthermore, Bugatti's clientele consists precisely of the type of customers willing to pay for exclusivity and technological superiority. At the same time, however, such a project would face enormous challenges. The first is regulation. At present, no country in the world has a fully developed infrastructure capable of supporting the widespread use of flying cars. Entirely new traffic regulations, control systems, and digital aerial corridors would have to be established. The second challenge is safety. Any failure in the air carries far more serious consequences than one on the road. Finally, there is the question of infrastructure. Where would such vehicles take off and land? Nevertheless, despite all these obstacles, many experts remain convinced that this is where the future of transportation is heading. The crucial point is that the market is only beginning to emerge. That gives companies a unique opportunity to establish leadership from the very beginning. This is where timing becomes critical. Whoever begins development first may ultimately define the industry's standards. According to insiders, if Bugatti ultimately decides to pursue this direction, the first concept vehicles could appear before the end of the decade. They would not be production models, but demonstrations of technological capability, intended to show the market what the next stage in the brand's evolution could look like. If the response proves positive, the company could then move toward full-scale development. Ultimately, Bugatti now faces a strategic decision. It can remain focused on traditional hypercars, while gradually losing its sense of exclusivity as electric transportation continues to advance. Or it can take a bold but potentially revolutionary leap toward an entirely new form of mobility. If history teaches anything, it is that the boldest decisions are often the ones that shape the future. The only remaining question is whether Bugatti is prepared to go all in once again and create not merely the world's fastest automobile, but the world's first truly luxurious flying hypercar, one that could redefine the very meaning of transportation. However, the story does not end there. Because if you take a closer look at how technologies are evolving across related industries, one thing becomes clear. The question is no longer whether flying cars will become a mainstream reality, but who will be the first to transform them into a true luxury product. And this is where Bugatti has a unique window of opportunity that, according to analysts, it can either seize or lose forever. The reason is that most companies developing eVTOL transportation are focused on the mass market. Their objective is to create a relatively affordable means of transportation that can be integrated into urban infrastructure. That inevitably requires compromises, simplified design, minimalist interiors, and a focus on functionality rather than emotion. Yet throughout the history of technology, there has almost always come a moment when a premium segment emerges that completely redefines the product. That is exactly what Bugatti once did for the automotive industry. And now, according to experts, it could repeat that achievement, but this time in the sky. Imagine a scenario in which other companies are producing conventional air taxis, while Bugatti enters the market with a product that is perceived as a work of art. Not merely a means of transportation, but a symbol, not simply a machine, but an engineering manifesto. Such a move would completely change the rules of the game. Insiders claim that the industry is already discussing the concept of the aerial hypercar. Although the term is unofficial, it is appearing with increasing frequency in analytical reports and private presentations. The idea is to create a vehicle that combines Bugatti-level performance, aesthetics, and exclusivity with vertical takeoff and flight capabilities. From a technical perspective, this would be an extraordinarily difficult challenge. But when discussing a hypothetical architecture, experts generally describe several possible approaches. The first is a fully electric platform using distributed propulsion, where multiple independent turbines integrated into the body replace a single power unit. Such a configuration could provide exceptional flight stability and outstanding maneuverability. The second approach is a hybrid system in which electric motors are responsible for takeoff and landing, while a more powerful propulsion system engages during horizontal flight to deliver high cruising speeds. This concept could significantly extend flight range and make the vehicle much more practical. The third possibility, favored by the industry's boldest engineers, involves the use of next-generation battery technologies, including solid-state batteries, which are currently under active development. If these technologies reach commercial viability within the next few years, they could fundamentally transform the capabilities of the entire industry. Yet even if one assumes that the engineering challenges can be overcome, the most important question remains: what would such a vehicle actually look like? This is where Bugatti possesses one critical advantage that cannot be replicated: its brand DNA. It is a combination of aggression and elegance that is instantly recognizable. According to designers, a flying Bugatti would have to preserve that identity through its unmistakable silhouette, flowing lines, emphasis on symmetry and proportion, and minimalist styling enhanced by unmistakable elements of luxury. The interior would most likely resemble the cabin of a private jet. It would accommodate 2, or at most 4, passengers seated in individually crafted premium seats, feature a fully digital control environment, and include panoramic glazing designed to create a deeply immersive experience. Operation would likely be fully autonomous while still allowing manual intervention in emergency situations. Behind this futuristic vision, however, lies a far more complicated reality. Entering the aviation market is not solely a technological challenge, it is also a political one. Regulators, certification authorities, international standards, and aviation safety requirements could extend development timelines by many years. That is precisely why many analysts believe that if Bugatti ultimately chooses this direction, it will do so as part of a long-term strategy. Not a rapid product launch, but a gradual evolution of the concept. First would come research, followed by demonstration prototypes, then limited testing, and only after that would a potential market launch become possible. At the same time, it is important to understand one more thing. Even if such a product is eventually introduced, it will never become a mass-market vehicle. It will be an ultra-exclusive machine available only to a very limited group of customers. Production could be measured in dozens or perhaps hundreds of units. But that is precisely the philosophy of Bugatti: to create not for everyone, but for those who want to own something that no one else has. In that context, a flying hypercar could become more than just a new product. It could represent the next stage in the evolution of the brand, a transition from being an automotive manufacturer to becoming the creator of unique transportation solutions for the future. The only question is exactly when that transition will happen, and whether it will happen at all. But considering the speed at which the industry is evolving, one thing is becoming increasingly clear: there is less and less time left for hesitation, and perhaps within the next few years, we will witness the first real steps in that direction. Because in a world where speed is no longer a unique advantage, the winner will be the one capable of offering something fundamentally new,